Hello and welcome to another video on the First Descendant. So new month has started, new week has started in the game for reactors, and I've selected 4 or 5 descendants and the best reactors and the best places to farm these reactors in. So first we begin with Freyna. Freyna got a buff recently, she's overpowered as hell, and this week we have good reactors available for her to boost her abilities even further. So quick look at Freyna's abilities. What we are looking for is Toxic and Tech. This is used in 3 of her abilities. 3 out of 4 use Toxic and Tech, and these are the abilities that we use normally. Now for anyone new to this, it's very simple to find out where to go to get the reactors. All you have to do is open up the map, make sure you're on hard difficulty, select difficulty level rewards, and then select the 2 attributes from the Descendant that we just saw. For example, Toxic and Tech for Freyna. So select Toxic here, Tech here, and you get these options. So you get these reactors based on the different type of ammo type basically. So there are multiple guns that use a certain ammo type, and based on your preference you can find a gun. So for Freyna, my preference is special rounds because the secret garden is the gun that I use with Freyna. That goes well. You don't have to use the secret garden. You can use other guns as well because Freyna's abilities have become so good that you don't need guns a lot of the time, so you can pick something else. But I have a fully maxed out secret garden, so I go with special rounds. You can go with high powered rounds. These are the sniper rifles. If you want the hand cannons or the scout rifles, you go with the impact rounds. But let's look at toxic rounds. So toxic rounds, you have to go into the Ironworks area in Sterile Land. So Sterile Land is one of the easier maps. Again, make sure you are on hard difficulty. You don't have too many options in terms of missions here. My recommendation would be the weapon processing facility. This is an extermination type of mission. It says 5 minutes here, but in my runs I was doing it in just under a minute, so 50 seconds, sometimes 55, 58, something like that. You had decent number of enemies. You did not have to run around too far. Small area, you just went in, killed the enemies quickly, and on average I was getting anywhere from 3 to 4 of these reactors. So you can repeat this 5-10 times and you'll get a decent number of reactors. Also, we were getting the negative ion particle from some of the enemies in this one. So that is a resource available needed for crafting. So you could do this mission for that reason as well and get some of those negative ion particles. Now once you have done this mission a bunch of times, you'll get this reactor called the Toxic Mechanics reactor. So you can see I've found a bunch of them. What I'm looking for is more tech power, more toxic power, more duration would be nice, lower cooldown would be nice. If you are fighting the Colossus, you can have the attribute for fighting the Colossus, like additional damage to Colossus. Skill cost would be good. So this one, for example, that I just have here, skill cost goes down, so your NP consumption will be reduced and your tech skill will get a boost. So this is excellent. Both of them are in gold, so that is even better. Then you have something like skill duration up. That is also convenient because even if with your ultimate, even if you get a lot of ammo there, you need to have enough duration to be able to empty the whole magazine. So tech skill power boost here, this is good. I mean, skill duration is blue, but it's still almost 8%, so it's not bad. Or you could get something with skill critical hit rate, hit damage, that is really good as well. Tech skill power boost ratio. You get a lot of stuff that is useless in a lot of the cases, like fire damage for a reactor for Freyna or chill damage. So you can discard those. I tend to only keep the ones that have the 2 useful attributes. So yeah, I would say depending on how you are playing. So for example, this one here, we get skill duration up and additional skill attack when attacking Colossus. This is very good in my opinion if you're using her 4th ability. So quite a good selection of reactors. I got this quite easily. Other people are struggling a little more, but for Freyna I got some really good reactors this week. Now next we have Gley. Now I'm not somebody who plays Gley. I find her like not as enjoyable to play. Maybe I'll try once I have mastered Freyna, let's say. So let's have a look at Gley's abilities. We have the first ability, which is the frenzied state. and this is non-attribute and singular. And the third ability, increase sensory, when in frenzy state, applies maximized lethality during which bullets are not consumed. So this is what a lot of people use when they're attacking colossus with their vestigial organ and stuff like that, like the launchers. So non-attribute and singular. Her other abilities, non-attribute and dimension. I would go with non-attribute and singular if I was playing Gley. So that is the reactor you need. So for Gley, we have two options available with the two attributes that we just discussed. We have general rounds in hatchery and special rounds in the classified area in sterileness. Now this is special rounds, so again you will be using something like the secret garden. With Gley, I've often seen people recommend the Python, which is a general rounds gun. So if you really want the best combination, you should look at hatchery. Now unfortunately, hatchery is probably the worst area in the map. To do anything, I avoid this as much as possible. However, I did go into here and try to see if I can get a reactor without getting annoyed. So we have 3 missions here that take quite a lot of time and they're not fun. And then you also have the void fragment if you have a fire descendant. You also have the outpost and you also have the reactor. So what I did was I ran the reactor and the outpost multiple times to see if that would be doable and that would make more sense. So on the outpost, you'll have to wait a minute, but you'll get anywhere from 1 or 2 reactors for Gley. Not bad. I guess you can do that. You'll also get the amorphous materials. And then what you can do is you can go to the reactor and fight the boss there. There's only one boss, and also they'll not drop every time. I had 9 amorphous materials at the reactor and I ran that 9 times and I got 6 reactors in the 9 runs that I did, which isn't too bad. So you'll not get it every time, but you'll get it more often than not. So that is how it went for me. I would say to avoid unnecessary time waste, you can do these 2 missions because both of these are very quick. If you have a decent mobbing bunny or even Sharen or something, you can do this over and over and get a bunch of reactors and then pick one that you like. So the reactor that you're looking for Gley is materialized singularity reactor. And once again, you can use the Python if you want. Something like a skill duration up would be really nice, or you can maybe get more range or something. But yeah, skill duration up, I think, and more power would be useful with Gley, and something for attacking the Colossus, more damage against Colossus, that would be useful. So materialized singularity reactor and ideally a Python mounting would be good. Now next up is a Descendant I rarely talk about, but alongside Freyna, Kyle also got a buff with the latest patch. And now Kyle is a decent Descendant. Abilities are not too complicated to use in my opinion. And what we are using here is the first ability to dash into enemies and knock them. And then we have the popular 4th ability, which is like he flies, does a huge amount of damage, drops bombs and things like that. So these are the fun abilities, let's say, for Kyle. And both of these abilities use non-attribute and tech. Now, conveniently for us, for Kyle, we only have one area and it's an easy area. It's the Grand Square in Kingston. So really nice area, starting mission level basically. And the mission I would recommend is the Kingston Surveillance Radar. Very short mission. Again, it'll take you a minute probably. And you have a decent number of reactors dropping from the enemy. So 3 to 4 usually shouldn't be a problem for you. Run this over and over a few times and you'll have plenty to select and find what you need. So this reactor for Kyle is called the Materialized Mechanics Reactor. And so because it's a special round, you can use the Greg's or Secret Garden once again. And what you're looking for is more damage, obviously would be nice. So something like skill critical hit damage, additional skill attack versus Colossus, that would be really good because Kyle is used for that often. Skill cost, so, or you could have more hit rate, again another one when attacking the Colossus and stuff like that basically. So yeah, good options here. And again, Greg's Reversed Fate would be a good option I think for Kyle. You can go with Secret Garden as well, again depending on the attributes that you get on the reactor. So next up we have Valby. Now with Valby, she's often used for farming, you could say, in a similar way to Bunny, and her third ability is what a lot of people use, which is called the cleanup. So she leaves a trail of water everywhere, and if the enemies stand in that, they'll take continuous damage and get killed quickly. We used this ability a lot in the outpost in Fortress, which we call the Valby run, basically to get a lot of XP and level up your guns and get a lot of gold and stuff. So third ability, non-attribute and dimension, this is what you really need. So these are the three types of ammo available with this reactor. We have the general rounds in a forward base in Hedges, we have the Aurora Forest with the high powered rounds, and we have the impact rounds. Now this third ability, she doesn't use weapons anyway, so I would say go with something like the impact rounds or the mission that is easy to farm. And I'm familiar with this Timberfall area because I do this mission here in Timberfall called the Timberfall Power Facility. I was doing this mission a couple of weeks ago because this is where the reactors for Freyna were dropping, and so this mission I'm familiar with. Basically it takes you about a minute and a half, little more sometimes. You have those Vulgus generators that you have to blow up with the bombs that they drop, and yeah, you'll get 3 to 4 reactors quite easily every time. Just run this over and over a few times, you'll have reactors in no time. So good mission. I like these missions that don't have to, that don't take you too far away and you don't have to do too many things. You can just quickly run around, kill enemies, grab the reactors, and then restart. So this reactor for Valby is called Materialized Phase Reactor. And again, depending on the gun type, what you are looking for is, again, more range of your ability because you'll spread the water different places. Lower cooldown would be nice, more damage would be good. So also you can use this against Colossus as well if you want. But yeah, you have the wave of light mounting, for example, here, which has skill cost reduction and additional skill when attacking Colossus. Both are gold, so I've highlighted this one here. You also have skill cooldown, which is also handy. So yeah, something like this, cooldown, range, that would be good to go with Valby. More damage, of course, would be nice as well. And so this reactor is called the Materialized Phase Reactor. And then finally, we have Sharen once again. So every week I try to check if there is a good reactor for Sharen. Ideally, for me, the best option would be general rounds mounting, so something like the Thunder Cage, and something that increases the duration of her second ability, which is the active camouflage. So Sharen, once you get into hard mode, is really required for farming a lot of the amorphous materials, and some of them can only be done with Sharen. So that's why having Sharen is important, and this is her main ability for hacking the outpost. Now if you have a good Thunder Cage is also very good for clearing outposts because of the special ability, the unique ability of the gun, which causes an explosion. So you can clear lots of enemies easily with Sharen and also get good cooldown or duration on your camouflage. So electric and dimension. So we only have one type of ammo reactors available for Sharen this week, and conveniently it is the general round. So we have to go to Moonlight Lake in the Westwards area, which is the same map as the Timberfall for Valby that we came here for earlier. So next area, and most of the missions here are on the shorter side, so will be convenient. You can run them over and over. I tried 2 of these missions, the old surveillance station and Lakeside. Both of them are about the same. I would say go with Lakeside, easier to do, and I was just getting a few more reactors here compared to the other one. Both take about the same time, exactly around 2 minutes roughly, give or take. And yeah, you'll get 2 to 3 reactors per run. And I was also surprised to see I was getting a lot of purple reactors, which were good because you just need something with duration. You don't have to worry too much about other things, duration and cooldown, and you can even use a purple reactor. So those are some of the reactors for a few of the Descendants. I thought I'll add 1 or 2, let's say, non-meta Descendants as well, like Gley or Kyle, or basically people I don't usually play as, but they had good reactors available, so I thought I'd mention them. But yeah, that's it. Good luck with your reactor hunt, and thank you for watching. See you next time.